in English, welcome Daryl. So thank you everyone for coming tonight. I'm Vanessa from Scentory, and we are a brand that creates sensory reading that fuses scent with art. For this very special edition, we are very, very honored to be working with Singapore's leading independent bookstore, to introduce Daryl's work, Shantih Shantih Shantih. This is his third novella. Shantih 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 is a very romantic, yet very melancholic and gentle sort of story. And this is why we have invited Nicholas, a Hong Kong art printmaker, to create some artwork and illustrations for our works here. And we have also invited musician Olivier Cong to create a soundtrack, as well as this live performance with Daryl. So handing this to Olivier and Daryl.
Hello, can everyone hear me? Yeah? Hi everyone. It's so lovely to see everyone here. This is the magic of digital technology, I suppose, but also the trauma of COVID. I can't be with everyone tonight, but I just wanted to let you know that I'm so touched that a guy like me could do anything wherever you guys are. And what will happen today is I'll be doing a reading of 2 chapters from this very small but I think very beautifully crafted novella. I hope everyone will enjoy. Okay, so. It will snow in Singapore on an August morning at around 5:15. It will be hard to decide when snowfall officially begins. There will be no official records. In fact, it will be impossible to formulate how it even happens. But you will know that the snow does fall, visibly at least, for 4 minutes and 26 seconds. In those 4 minutes and 26 seconds, your partner Louise will mount his camera on a tripod on your balcony and start to record a video. He'll record nothing but the snow itself, falling from clouds unknown. He will make it possible to detect various disturbances in motion, such as flurries and eddies and little gusts. He'll record the instants in which the snow begins to quicken and then thicken, so that for just a moment the white is all anyone can see. For reasons beyond your partner's skill or the capabilities of his camera, it will appear profound and beautiful and astonishing. You will wonder if this is in fact an act of God or simply a great and frank unburdening of the sky. Your partner's clip will only be 2 minutes and 53 seconds long. In a year's time, East Asian premiere at the David Swinner Gallery in Hong Kong, followed by its American premiere at the MCA in Chicago. A month after that, he will give a talk at a TED Global Conference, which will be viewed online by 17 million people in under 3 months. 5 months after that, he will invite you to move in with him in his new studio at Santa Fe, New Mexico, because he says he finally has the means to provide a house for you, to make work with you, and to love you like he said he would. 2 days later, you will pack your bags, you will say goodbye to your mother, and you will go like you repeatedly promised him you would. But first, you have to meet him by chance before any of this can happen. You have to be at home, putting on a nice dress and a pair of heels, while also figuring out the route to the bar at 1 Fullerton, where your friends in the group chat are planning to gather for drinks. You will briskly make your way to Punggol MRT station, where you'll take notice of a rather short and stout man carrying a large backpack while trying to read a map. The instant he glances in another direction, you will find that you recognize his profile, that he's a senior you once hooked up with in sophomore year, and that, according to Facebook, is now embarking on a major trip around Southeast Asia. You will say his name, Luis Moreno, and he will turn, look over his shoulder with an alarmed expression in his eyes. Then he will blink at you, unable to recognize you until you tell him your name. And he will say, Jesus, Veronica, I wasn't sure if it was you. And you will ask if it's because of the dress. You hardly wore dresses back in Chicago. And he'll say, no, it's the heels. you're practically taller than I am now. And you'll say, yeah, you might be right actually, and laugh. You'll proceed to ask him how he's here at Punggol Station of all the places in the world. He will tell you that he's here for a project actually, on antipodal points. You'll ask him what that is and he'll tell you that it's 2 points in a sphere that are directly opposite to one another. To elaborate, he'll tell you to pick any spot on Earth and borrow a tunnel straight through, down towards the core of the Earth and then past it. The place at which you will finally emerge is a place that's antipodal to your starting point. And then you will ask, well, what is Singapore's antipodal point? And he will say it's an area in the Yasuni National Park in Ecuador, where his maternal grandfather was last heard to be. And then you will ask, timidly, what had happened to Louise's grandfather. And he'll only say that he was on a train, or he was on a run, sorry, that the 70s were a very violent, very politically unstable period in Ecuador. And that is just the extent of what he understands so far. It's not that my family doesn't talk about these kinds of things, so that you're saying, it's just that they know so very little. And so Louise is here in Singapore, carrying out this project of his and trying to know what it means. If to get to the very bottom of any truth is to literally emerge on the other side of the earth. He's here trying to find his grandfather via a process he's still developing. And here, he says, wondering about this country is like a parallel universe. That's what Singapore is. At this point, you'll ask Louise what his plan is for the rest of the night. He will say that he's thinking of heading back to his hostel at Jalan Kubor, and you'll crinkle your nose and fail to recall if you've ever even heard of the Jalan Kubor. Instead, you'll tell him about your own plans, about how you're going to a bar at One Fullerton, where your friends are planning to be, and you'll add that it's a pretty nice place. He is more than welcome to join you. Am I really? Says Louise, and you will say, yes, of course. He's certainly more than welcome. Later, however, at the bar at One Fullerton, you will find that only 3 of her friends have shown up. Louise will say, meet A and B and C. And Louise will smile and say, hey, nice to meet you all. This is a really nice place. Isn't it insane that Veronica and I just met again like an hour ago? And then, judging from Louise's accent, your friends will surmise that both of you must know each other from college at the School of the Art Institute of Chicago. And he'll say, yeah, exactly, that's right. For a brief moment, you will wonder if Louise will start bringing up stuff like stories or anecdotes of your shared history together. You wonder if he too will come to realize that you guys barely know one another, in fact, and that there isn't much to say or describe at all. You were just a girl, weren't you? And he was just a boy, available and willing to stay over at your place 2 or 3 days a week for about 1 to 2 months at most. And then what happened? How did you stop seeing one another? You'll try to think of an answer and fail. And you will realize that this failure to answer for things must surely happen to everyone really, and so when it happens to you, it's also okay. It's fine. At 11 p.m., Louise will turn to you and announce the time. You both will have had a few drinks at this point, but of course, unlike Louise, you'll already be feeling a lot lighter than this. You're already there where you need to be, your face cherry red and shining. Are you done, Louise asks? You're not going to drink anymore? No, you say to him. I'm feeling great. And you? I'm good, he'll say. But I'm not done, if you know what I mean. I want to do something else, somewhere else. Somewhere else? Yeah, he'll say it anywhere. Come on, V, he'll say to you. Think of something. And so you will leave the bar and go on a walk. And because the two of you have so much energy in your bodies, you feel like you can walk for ages. The night's pretty cool and perfect for some reason. From One Fullerton, you'll lead him around the Bay Area and walk past the Malayan, where there are still tourists around the statue, taking pictures of the spout and spray. You're gonna take a picture as well? You shout at Louise, and Louise will yell, no, fuck no, I'm gonna keep walking. And that's when you'll spot a pair of yellow bicycles in the corner, one of those new common use bicycles that everybody's renting nowadays. And you'll say, fuck walking, dude, this is even better. And you'll both run to the bikes and spend a good 20 minutes figuring things out, trying to download the damn app on your smartphones, and when you finally unlock the O-bikes, you will feel nothing short of triumph. The two of you are young and free and total brats, suddenly powering through the crowded Marina Bay Sands until you reach the Helix Bridge, which will soar over your heads just a second. And then you will race through a garden you've never seen before, down cycling paths you never knew existed before, past a large building with towering white columns that is an entrance/exit to gardens by the bay that you never knew before. And then further down to where Marina Barrage is, which will prompt Louise to ask, "What the fuck is a barrage?" Which will then elicit a "God knows" from you, a phrase that will fly out of your mouth so quickly and delightfully that you will imagine it soaring out of your throat like a flare. Its smoke trail leading up towards the night sky where all these kites, these beautiful kites, just suddenly appear out of nowhere. And when you look back down, it's a miracle. Look at all these people still here. Isn't it midnight already? And what a verdant fields of grass leading straight towards the sea, where across the horizon lies an entire line of boats and ships and other supermassive things that glow radiant in the night. And this is where you will both finally stop and catch your breath. This is where you will throw your O-backs down and rest, clinging onto the ground, the grass and then each other, kissing and then touching and then rolling over one another, laughing into each other's faces, so much that it is practically a mystery as to why you ever parted in the first place. How silly.
It's like you're trying to get to heaven in a hurry, and the queue was shorter than you thought it would be, and the doorman says you need to get a wristband. You gotta live between the pitfalls, but you're looking like you're low on energy. Did you get out and walk to ensure you missed a quicksand? Looking for a new place to begin. Feel like it's hard to understand. As long as you still keep peppering the pills, you find a way to spit it out again. But even when you know the way it's gonna blow, it's hard to get around the wind. Stretching out the neck on your evening, trying not to leave some deficits, but the same two multiple confusions. And you can shriek into your hollow and whisper it the other way. Try to save the you without putting your shoes on. Looking for a new place to begin, or feeling like it's hard to understand. But as long as you still keep peppering the pills, you find a way to spit it out again. And even when you know the way it's gonna blow, it's hard to get around the wind.
And then how strange to suddenly find yourself on the other side of the world, chortling and grinning into the ear of a girl you once knew. Everything will seem to be happening to somebody else, some dude luckier than you have any right to be. And you'll continue to laugh out of disbelief when an irate stranger flashes a light at the both of you, telling you and your girl to take your business elsewhere. Don't you know there are kids in this park? And then your girl will go, oh shit, the kids. And then she'll dramatically scamper towards the old bike and dash out of the place. And you make a run for yours as well and chase after her, screaming, we have to protect the children. It's the children, I tell you. And as you start to cycle after her, it will be your turn, briefly, to think about why you stopped seeing one another. But like Veronica, you'll never know the reason why, because it's the exact same reason why you've never held on to anything for very long. If you never learn to love a thing, it will never love you back. And although there is loneliness in that situation, there is freedom as well. And freedom, you will say to yourself, it's the only thing worth being lonely for. But then you will hear a voice and it asking you, what if I told you that it doesn't have to be this way? What if I told you, what if I whispered to you that freedom is no big deal? That as long as you are bound to gravity, to space, and to time, that freedom will always be an illusion, or at most a waking dream. Boy, the voice says, think about it. You will follow your girl down a path. She'll slow down on her bicycle. She'll look over her shoulder and make eye contact with you and smile. She'll ask how you're feeling and you will say you're good, you're fine. In fact, you are very, very happy, the happiest you have been in a while. And she will say she is glad you've made her happy as well. She feels the exact same way. She still can't believe she got to see you again and that it's your fault, you bastard, for making her remember. Remember what? You'll ask, and she'll not say what. Instead, she'll say, Louise, I actually have no idea where we are, and you'll take a look at your surroundings. You're cycling on a narrow path next to an empty road on the right. But what is it exactly over on your left? What are these trees doing there? And then you will request for both of you to stop cycling, and you will stop and disembark from your bicycles and begin to walk around the area. You will judge, based on the appearance of things, that this must be a tree farm of sorts. The grass on the ground is well shorn and bare for as far as you can see. More importantly, there are trees of all kinds too, but they are all merely saplings at most, miniature, kid-sized trees, planted in mounds of dirt spaced equally apart down many, many roads. You and your girl will place your bicycles at the edge of this farm and start walking amongst the trees with their slender trunks and modest amount of leaves. In the darkness, you will feel like you're slipping in and out of sight, but not really, because hiding is just not possible here, even with the moon obscured by the sudden intrusion of clouds. It makes you warm to think of you both as explorers, discovering the same unknown together, to be in several ways aligned for once. After a while, you will spot a vehicle in the distance, parked and yet seemingly abandoned in the middle of this farm. It will look to you like a tractor of some sort, with an engine and a driver's seat and a large loader filled with dirt. And as you approach it, you'll discover that there is still a man on that tractor, seated on the driver's seat with his body slouched over the wheel. Perhaps the man is sleeping, you will wonder. For some reason, you will be overcome with emotion the more you take in the sight of this man. You will take note of his beige shirt and his dark trousers as you gradually make your approach. You will find that the man's posture is affecting you because it resembles an image you have been chasing for a while, long held in your own mind. The image of your grandfather in the middle of the Ecuadorian rainforest, his body slumped in the same way this man is, dressed too in a beige shirt and dark trousers. These will be his only measure of dignity while he is a wanted man, hiding deeper and deeper in a forest where no one for sure will ever find him. And then what? You've always wanted to ask your grandfather, so what? How could you allow yourself to be so lost? You tell your girl you want to take a picture. Of the tractor, your girl will say, you will nod and say yes, as you put your backpack on the ground. You'll take out your camera and attach the right lens and mount it on your compact tripod. You'll then find the settings for the light you want, only to realize that there is no light. And when you take your shots of the man sleeping on the tractor, you'll notice your girl lingering beside you, watching you do your work. Does she know, you wonder, that the shots are crap, that they are not very good, that you are still rather drunk? Your girl will ask if you're ready to go back to her place after this, and you will say, without much thought at all, that you are. When her Uber finally comes around, both of you will settle in, and you will reach across the darkness of the vehicle and hold her hand in yours, and she will let you. And when she finally takes you into a room, you will let her lead you into the shower as well, where you'll make love to her, and say good things to her, and tell her how much you miss her, even now when you are with her. You tell her that for the first time in a long while, you feel like anything can truly happen, so long as she's willing to remain beside you. And then the voice speaks yet again. Boy, listen, it says. What if I told you that your soul is too big for one person, for one body, one life? Would you believe me? Would you say yes, you do? Boy, you have to listen to me. Would you say you are at least willing to try? At 4:41 a.m., you will sit in your girl's living room, staring at a photograph she took while she was on holiday in Shirakawa, Japan. It is a picture of these two strangers, head to toe in blue, holding on to one another as they make their way through a snowstorm. She didn't even plan the shot, she'll tell you. It was just something she took on her iPhone. Can you imagine that? She asks, and you say, yes, of course. You say you will believe in anything now. And so when she tells you that something unbelievable is happening out on the balcony, you will walk over and slide the doors open, only to let in a sudden gust of chilly air. And when she points her hand upwards, you will look up as well, only to see that it has started to snow, even though it's the middle of August, here on the equator. And when she tells you to take out your camera right now, as fast as you can, you will listen to her. You will do as you are told. You will see that you have been drifting your whole life, only to find yourself caught in the orbit of something immense and wonderful. And the gravity of it makes sense, feels solid, is right. Boy, you've burrowed your way through the earth, and this is where you've ended up. You are a part of something now.
And so it ends, like you said it would be. Life goes easy on me most of the time. And so it ends, the shorter story. No love, no glory, no heroes in her sky. I can't take my eyes off you. 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 I can't take my eyes. And so it is, just like you said it should be. We both forget the breeze most can't take my eyes off you. I 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 can't take my eyes. 'Cause I'm hungry. Oh, I'm a widow. What the hell am I doing here? Oh, I don't belong here. I don't care if it hurts. I wanna have control. I want a perfect body. I want a perfect soul. I can't take my eyes off you. 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 Off you. Thank you.
So we're now going to do a very short Q&A with Daryl to discuss his new book. If you guys have any questions, just let us know. Give us a shout. Yeah. So hi Daryl, can you hear me?
A bit. You're very muted.
Yeah. Can I wait? I'll just quickly speak. Hi, can you hear me now?
Yeah, a bit better. A bit better, yeah.
Okay. Hi, Daryl. Just
Hi.
a really quick Q&A. I want to let everyone know more about your book. So, do you mind telling us what has inspired Shantih Shantih Shantih, and why is the book called Shantih Shantih Shantih? It's a very new and interesting word to us.
Yeah, okay, so basically, to answer those questions, what inspired the book? So the book basically is about this instance of snowfall that happens in Singapore for 4 minutes and 26 seconds. It takes place at around 4:40 something a.m. and I was very, very interested, I think, in seeing how this instance of something miraculous could actually kind of take place in a place that, some might say is rather mundane, the city of Singapore, but also kind of illuminate the kinds of people who might even be awake at the time to experience such a miracle. And I didn't get the idea in the first place, actually. The idea came to me when the owner of books, actually, Kenny Leck, he asked if I could maybe explore writing a piece of fiction that could be read in any order that the reader so chooses. And so once he put that idea in me, that's when the idea of a novella comprising of, like, say, a dozen chapters that could be read in any order, that's how the idea first came to me. And then afterwards I was thinking, like, oh, what kind of a story could capture that kind of feeling and could possibly encompass this kind of structure. And that's when I thought of this miraculous instance of snowfall in which a dozen people in Singapore get to experience, and to go to answer about the title, Shantih Shantih Shantih, I think that's where I reveal, like, another source of inspiration for the book was actually T.S. Eliot's The Wasteland. which I read, a long time ago as a uni student studying English at undergrad, and based on my, I guess, my own interpretations of the poem, it was kind of published sometime around towards the end of the First World War, and I think when T.S. Eliot wrote the poem, I think it was from my own reading, he was trying to capture, I guess, I suppose, a state of the United Kingdom that was, at its time, the largest the empire had ever been. And so the poem was this accumulation of different voices, and not just voices, but of course different cultures that were kind of just accumulating in various pockets across London at the time. And I saw it really as a kind of picture of cosmopolitanism, but also, I guess in a sense, colonial excess. And the whole poem ends with this constant refrain, Shantih Shantih Shantih. And these three words in particular obviously end that poem, Shantih Shantih Shantih. And it's a chant taken from Sanskrit, specifically from Hindu tradition. And it's all about inner peace, right? And it's all about the idea that the more you say it, the more you can kind of relieve yourself of certain burdens that are weighing you down on various aspects of your soul, your health, your mental health as well. And so to answer the question simply, Shantih 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 is really about trying to find inner peace, right? And it's trying to find inner peace in a place that's full of access. And obviously, when I was thinking about Singapore, I couldn't help but draw certain kinds of parallels between the cosmopolitan nature of Singapore at the time I was writing it with the kind of wasteland that T.S. Eliot was imagining the empire to be at the time as well. So that's how the multiple strands kind of wove together in a way that resulted in the book that we see right now. Yeah.
So you talked a lot about inner peace. How do you find your inner peace? Like, do you identify with do you identify with any of the characters in the book as to how, because there are a lot of people meeting each other and then losing contact. Like, for instance, you're just a girl and you're just a boy. It's about this lover who have separated and have met each other again. And then I think somehow in the process they also have gone through self-healing, right? Do you identify with any of the characters in the book, or did they help you find that inner peace sort of you've been talking about?
I would say, it's such a great question, because I would say I identify with all of the characters in the book, and they have all helped me find inner peace, because I think so much of the way I operate as a writer is I've been accused of having this particular quality known as largesse, like I'm constantly trying to save people. and so I think when I tend to write stories, I tend to write stories about people who are trying to basically save themselves from their own situations. And obviously sometimes this ability to save themselves doesn't even require any kind of change in their circumstances. More often than not, it requires some kind of deeper understanding about themselves and what they're going through and what they're actually capable of in life. And so when we see these 12 different characters who so happen to be awake at the time when snow fell in Singapore, they're all kind of mischievous in their own way, and they're all up to no good as well. We have people who are hooking up, we have people who are insomniacs, we have people who are just trying to find love in this cruel place. And because they're all also naturally people that I created, I can't help but empathize with all of their own difficulties, even though of course I'm in no way, shape or form similar to any one of them, except I suppose the character that we see in the first chapter. In the first chapter is simply just titled You, and I would say I am most like him. And that he is kind of in a situation where he is in bed with this queer lover, and let's just say I was also, I guess, in a sort of similar situation. And he does kind of, at the end of the first chapter, provide a kind of translation for the word snow in Tamil, and he calls it Tani, and it's something that obviously took from my own actual life and I planted in the book. while I identify all the characters, I guess I a facsimile of myself is also represented in this book. And there's this photograph that um, ties many of the events of the book together. And in the book, I've said that Veronica is the taker of this photograph, but of course it was me. It was I who took that photograph. But I reappropriated it for the story, and I think when you read the book, it'll be really interesting to see how this particular image gets reinterpreted by many different people in the book as well. So yeah.
Okay. Last question. Last question. You've written in a way where the characters crisscross, right, in each other's lives, and each kind of chapter has something to do with each other, right? What sort of inspired you to write in that kind of manner? Because you sort of also written in that sort of style in your first book, so I find it really interesting and really love it. Is there like an inspiration on why you keep exploring in that sort of direction?
Yeah. To answer that question, I think it really boils down to the heart of my practice as a writer. As a writer, I'm often plagued with this idea of loneliness, because I was bullied as a child, and the bullying lasted for many years. I think it was like 12 or so years, and during that whole time, it was very difficult, because you really do feel like you're alone in the world. I think when I was 15, even my own best friends became my worst bullies at the time. And so when I turned to books, and then when I turned to writing, I found myself very much interested in the theme of loneliness and how I can continue to explore that theme of loneliness. And to go back to the idea of inner peace, one of the ways in which I've managed to find peace within myself while I'm writing the stories is to see how all these lonely people that I've created from my imagination, how they're not actually that lonely in practice. When I wrote my first novel, it's a series of 8 chapters featuring 8 different casts of characters, and when I wrote it, I was at the loneliest point in my life, and I think I found a lot of comfort when, after putting the final word to my manuscript and then looking at the book as a whole, I kind of realized that allowing all these lonely characters to be side by side, chapter by chapter, they weren't so lonely anymore. And in fact, the connections that they found within each other's lives, they could all find company within this book, and that gave me so much peace. That gave me so much peace because at the same time, I love city life. I do, and even though I am a dabbler in magical realism, right, and I tend to create supernatural events to kind of illuminate the lives of my characters, I still find that the most miraculous thing about our urban life is that we do get to run into people all the time. People that we know or people that we don't know, but every interaction we have, even in this very space right now, there is a connection there that can either be tapped on or left alone. And that very potential of life, that is the magic that I can find every day. And so being able to create all kinds of coincidences and serendipitous meetings between my characters across the pages of the book, I think that gives me a lot of joy as well. And it shows me time and time again that we are never really alone, and if you ever want to find solace in another person, all you do really is just turn around us and you can find another friend. Yeah, so yeah, I think that's what I keep returning to all the time. Yeah.
I think I totally resonated with you while reading the book because while reading it, I've seen so much of myself in your characters, and I think it's the understanding or knowing of your brokenness. It's shared by others, it's shared by characters, it's shared by so many people. That makes you really less lonely. So yeah, thank you for your sharing and the wonderful, wonderful book. It's amazing.
Oh, thank you for saying that. Thank you. Yeah.
So I think we should wrap it here. We'll wrap here.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So anyway,
Okay.
thank you everyone for coming. So this is Daryl. Please don't forget to check out his books. We have all his books here today with us, and Shantih 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 is his latest book. And here you'll see the scent we have created specially for the book, as well as artwork created by Nicholas, who's with us today as well, based on Daryl's book. So thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, my bad. And we're inviting Olivier to sing one more song to end for us. Thank you.
記得買書啊今日，好好睇本書認真。So I was just telling them to buy the book. 嚟緊呢首歌自己一首歌嚟嘅，咁樣就係 inspired by 都係一本書嚟嘅，叫 Raymond Carver 嘅一個What we talk about when we talk about love 咁樣。我諗我睇呢本書嘅時候都有少少嗰種人與人之間嘅關係同埋係咯有少少感情上面嘅。咁最後尾都發現咧，原來大家都好孤單，但係其實都唔孤單，就係咁啦。So I just talked about the song I'm gonna play. It's called What We Talk About When We Talk About Love. So hope you guys, everyone like it. Yeah. Okay, cool. The quiet man sits and stares. He sees the smallest things. Sorry，再講。其實冇 M 都 OK 啊，咪The quiet man sits and stares. He sees the smallest things. The moon tonight is full of scars. Any damn fool could put a face on it. She has confidence in me and confidence in him. No one likes to change. It seems a lifetime's too short for that. Lady of sorrows, please give me my morals that talk about love. It's killing me. He saw the time and went outside to light a cigarette. But he said he stopped long ago, so I said I'd smoke one with him. is all it takes.
Thank you so much for coming again. Thank you to Olivier and Daryl.
Cool. Bye, Shia. Bye bye.